today's video, we're going to be discussing 100 facts about Mirandus in celebration for hitting 100 subscribers on this channel. First of all, thank you guys so much. Y'all rock. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. The Mirandus community is truly amazing. Second, if you're new here and not subscribed yet, my name is Jake and I make content all about Mirandus. So if that's something you're interested in, then hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you around again. If not, then I guess peace and thanks for stopping by. Second is I'm going to be doing a 100 Gala giveaway for hitting 100 subscribers at the end of this video. So get your thinking cap on. It's going to be for the most creative comment. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's start this video off by talking about the characters inside of Mirandus. These characters are known as exemplars, and an exemplar is a character with special abilities. These aren't going to be free-to-play characters, and those could come in the future, but for right now, Mirandus is only going to have exemplars in the game. There are 5 different races of exemplars. There's human, orc, dwarf, halfling, and elf exemplars. We're going to briefly cover each exemplar and what its ability is. So let's start off with the alchemist. The alchemist has a bonus to potion making. Then we have the cartographer, which has a bonus to map making. We've got the goldsmith, which has a bonus to jewelry crafting. We have the green cloaks, which gives a bonus to cutting wood and carpentry. We have the pit fighter, which has a bonus to fighting with his hands. Then we've got the rider of the north with the benefit to all things horses. We've got the seafarer for a bonus to sailing. We have the human strong hands, which has a bonus to all crafting. We have the true provider, which has a bonus to farming. And we have the weavers, which has a bonus to clothing making. Second race we're going to talk about is the orcs. And we're going to start off with the orc of the long hunt, which can go further without food or sleep. Then we have the orc of certainty, which can actually sense aggressive creatures. The next one is the clear blood orc, which has a resistance to poisons. Then we have the bone orc, which has faster healing. And then we have the beating heart clan orc, which can actually sense heat signatures. So as you can tell, the orcs are kind of an exploration race. Then we have the dwarves, and they're an exploration race as well, but they're more geared towards crafting and gathering. So we're going to start off with the Iron Shapers, and they're going to be the best blacksmiths in the game. Then we have the Hollowers, which mine rock quicker. We have the Glimmering Clan, which is easier to find rare gems when using. We've got the Deep Mountain Clan, which can see in the dark when you're underground. And then lastly, the Conveyor, which holds more items in their inventory. I think the Conveyor is going to be a must-have in a lot of teams, so I personally love the Conveyor. Next race of exemplar we're going to talk about is the Halfling, and the Halfling is the second most rare exemplar in the game. We're going to start with the Even Strides, which can run faster than any exemplar in the game. Then we have the Long Songs, which have a bonus to singing, I believe, and I think this is a little bit of speculation, but I think it'd be so cool if the Long Songs not only could sing songs like a bard in the game, but could maybe cast spells while singing in battle. So you kind of have some battle music going. I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know if that's actually going to be in the game though. And the next one is the Mumsens, which move in almost complete silence when crouched. Then we have the Proudhearts, which are going to be the best cooks in the entire game. Then we've got the Neverlooks, which, if they're crouched, they are almost invisible. Last and most rare exemplar in the game that we're going to be talking about is the Elves, and there are only 1,000 elves in the entire game. Only 200 of each of these 5 types of elves. So we're going to start with the All-Sight Elf, which has a bonus to range weapons. Then we have the Bright Sun Elf, which can actually convert rays of sun into energy and health. Then we have the Dark Sun Elf, which can see outside in the dark at night. By the way, Mirandus is going to be a very, very dark game. If you played the playtest, you'll see how dark the game actually is at night. Like, you really can't see anything, and it's not as simple as, you know, turning up something in the settings to be able to see outside. I think it's truly going to be a dark, dark game. Then we have the Earthlight Elf, which uses less energy when casting spells, followed by the Everflow Elf, which I have an Everflow Elf. I think that they're the best elf, you know, that's just me. No, but the Everflow Elf can cast spells faster than any other character in the game. I think that they're going to be an expensive character, Materium-wise, but I think that they're going to provide the best, if not one of the best DPSs in the entire game. And I know there's going to be people in the comments saying like, oh, All-Sight Elf, or oh, Earthlight Elf. No, I love my Everflow Elf, and so that's why I'm saying it's the best. So now that we've talked about the different types of exemplars inside of the game and their abilities, let's talk about how to use those exemplars to make the in-game currency Materium. So first of all, Materium is going to be the premium in-game currency. Materium is also going to be magic in the world of Mirandus. So I really like the idea and love the concept of you using magic not only to cast spells, but to also buy expensive and rare types of armor and weapons. So that's one way that you can earn Materium, is by owning a shop and selling armor and weapons, or owning a meat stand or a bread stand and selling food to adventurers. Or you can be an adventurer and go out and find Materium or gold or silver out in the land of Mirandus. That's another thing, is gold and silver will be a currency inside of the game. Whether that'll be on-chain or not, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's been decided yet. I'm pretty sure the consensus is no on that, but I'm not positive. I personally believe that adventurers will make a ton in the world of Mirandus, because that's the only way to bring in new Materium inside of the economy. So you don't have to own tons of buildings or tons of land inside of the game to become wealthy in game, because you can go out, explore, and every time you kill a monster, you're going to be dropped some sort of currency such as Materium. In doing so, if you continually repeat that over time, you will amass more and more Materium. Though it may be quicker and slightly more passive to own some buildings or to own some land deeds inside of Mirandus. That's another thing, is all land deeds inside of the game will be player owned. From the smallest little homesteads to the biggest citadels, there will be an owner of that land deed. Owners will actually get a bonus for owning that land deed, and depending on the size of the land deed, they'll get an even better or worse bonus. Different types of land deeds will have differing numbers of farming plots, of building plots, and of decoration plots as well. That's something that a lot of people forget about, but decorations will be in the game. In fact, if you look at the pictures that Gala's provided us, it shows exactly how many decorations will be on each land deed and where they'll be placed out as well. The thing that depends on the size of the land deed is the protection of the deed itself. So something as small as a homestead won't really have a whole lot of protection from outside monsters, but a citadel, on the other hand, is going to have massive walls that protect it from the outside monsters. So you're not really going to see a minotaur walking through the middle of a citadel. However, you may see a minotaur wreaking havoc around the outside of a homestead. So that's something to keep in mind when you're placing your homestead in a dangerous spot. You're not really going to have a whole lot of protection, though I'm pretty sure there is a way to combat that. I think that I remember Michael McCarthy talking about a way to upgrade your deed defenses so that maybe the walls around the deed are a little bit stronger. Now, I might be making that up, and maybe that's just wishful thinking, but I'm pretty sure I remember him talking about that at one point. If that's not a mechanic, that should be a mechanic. Speaking of unique mechanics inside of Mirandus, I love the death mechanic. It's going to be so penalizing, and it's going to suck to die, which is going to bring real fear back into games, because a lot of times when you're out exploring in other games, you don't really feel scared to just to leave town. But in Mirandus, Michael wants you to actually be scared to leave safety, so that when you do come across a monster, you're actually going to be penalized when dying rather than just paying a little bit to respawn somewhere. No, you're going to be losing experience points and mastery points, which is going to suck because you're essentially losing all that time that you just put in. When you die, you're going to respawn at a cemetery, and there is a way that you can bribe the cemetery owner with some Materium for him to click a couple buttons and allow you to res back with full experience and mastery points, which is going to be super nice. But, you know, depending on how high a level you were, that could be fairly expensive. So hopefully you know a cemetery owner, or you own a cemetery, because that could come in major handy. But cemeteries, they're pretty expensive relative to any other building. Like, a cemetery is one of the most expensive buildings. That's one that I would really love to have, but I think that one's a little bit out of my price budget. Just a second ago, I mentioned something called masteries, and masteries are essentially like the amount of experience points you have in a certain type of weapon or magic. So far, there are 7 different types of weapons that have been mentioned that will have a mastery, and 4 different types of magics that will have masteries. And the weapons are sword, dagger, axe, staff, bow, crossbow, and hammer. And then the types of magic are acid, fire, lightning, and light magic types. I love the concept of masteries because that's going to prevent straight up pay to win. And a little bit of pay to win is okay and expected, honestly. But this is going to make sure that certain recipes or skills or spells are gated in the sense that you have to have high enough mastery to use that recipe, skill, or spell, so that someone who's brand new to the game and just dropped a bunch of money can't just come in and all of a sudden be better than someone who's been playing for months on end. Now, you know, you still could buy an exemplar that's already been leveled up, but you get what I'm saying. When you level up an exemplar in its masteries or just general experience points, that is going to stay with the exemplar if you decide to sell it. So that's going to make two different seafarers be two different prices. You know, you could have your base seafarer with this like level 1 and no masteries yet, as opposed to a seafarer that has sailed around the world several times and is highly leveled. He's going to sell for a lot more. And that's going to give the average gamer, so someone with not a lot of money, another chance to make money inside of Mirandus just by playing the game and using an exemplar inside of the game. They're going to be able to sell it for hopefully more than what they paid for it. One of the reasons I'm extremely excited for Mirandus is the secrets that you're going to find out exploring. So we touched on exploring a little bit earlier, but I kind of want to go back to it because there's so much to it. It's not just going to be like, yup, go out, get some stuff and come back. No, there's going to be one-of-one bosses in the game that when killed are never coming back. McCarthy has talked about event bosses potentially. He's talked about changing landscapes so that the beginning landmass that is never really used anymore is still going to have some sort of use. And he's even talked about putting thousands of dollars worth of material in hidden locations or in secret chests at the end of long dungeons. And I love that. I love the idea of fighting through a long dungeon with some friends, and then you get into the bottom and you find the secret chest worth literally thousands of US dollars. That would be amazing because people do that anyway with MMOs. And so it'd be cool to say, yeah, I paid my rent this month with money that I made, you know, killing some goblins or something. Another mechanic that I really love about the exemplars is the class system. So McCarthy wants classes to be NFTs. Now, there may be some classes that you can start off as that aren't NFTs that are free, but as you go through the game and you kill bosses or you find secret chests once again, you could find or earn these certain types of rare classes that maybe only a few people in the entire game have. So, for example, he talked about killing the Lava King, and maybe killing the Lava King would drop the Lava Archer class. And maybe that's going to give you a bonus to fire magic or something like that when using an all-sight elf or when using some kind of bow. Speaking of shooting arrows, in just 2 short weeks, Galaverse is coming up, and when Galaverse is here, that means that the Mirandus playtest is going to be here. So I don't know when you're watching this. I'm making this on May 24th, and it'll probably be uploaded on the 25th or 26th. But in early June of 2022, there's going to be a playtest where we shoot goblins, and it's not going to be anything crazy. The goblins aren't going to attack you or anything. We're basically just testing the tech for us as players shooting arrows at dumb goblins. And each exemplar you have, you're actually going to be receiving materium to participate in the playtest and shoot some dumb goblins. So for every human exemplar you have, you're going to get 100 materium. For every orc or dwarf you have, you're going to get 400. For every halfling, you're going to get 1,000. And for every elf, you're going to get 4,000 materium. So if you have exemplars, I highly recommend participating in the playtest to help the team test the tech and also just have some fun in the world of Mirandus, because it's not very often that you actually get to step foot in the world. They're shooting for a permanently playable version later on this year, but it's still not set in stone that it's going to happen. So I think that puts us at 100 facts. If it's 99, then we'll just use this as the last fact. You guys rock. Seriously, you're the best community I could ever ask for. I appreciate you a ton, and seriously, thank you guys for 100 subscribers. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and do the giveaway. So to enter that, all you have to do is comment the funniest or the best boss name you could think of for a boss inside of Mirandus in the comments below, and I'll pick someone that I think is best. We'll put the time limit in a week. We'll just say on May 30th. At 11:59 CST. Not a whole lot, but I figured it'd be something kind of fun to do. So comment the best or the funniest or the most creative boss name in the comments, and I will pick a winner before too long. So if you guys have watched this far into the video, I appreciate you a ton. Thank you so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.